Now, this course is also provided to you in addition to the videos and the textbooks and the other resources, including the MP3 hypnosis sessions that you can listen to. It's also equipped you with a script library, some tools that we call hypnotic scripts that you can actually bring to sessions with you. And these are actually written scripts. They start at the very beginning with a process for hypnotic induction, and they go through all 5 elements, including a deepener, and they go through the suggestive therapy, direct and indirect suggestion. We'll talk about that in a little while. And it goes into the reorientation process. And hypnotists are often looking for and trying to utilize scripts with clients. The reason why is simple. Scripts give us a list of suggestions that we can make to clients, and there's often a lot to remember, especially when you're a new hypnotist. Now, there are a lot of different resources. This course provides you with a number of different scripts. I wrote a book titled Richard Nongard's Big Book of Hypnosis Scripts. In fact, I actually have another script book that's coming out next year. And let me take a look at some of the scripts that are in here. There's a script for golf, enhancing focus and concentration. A script for overcoming public speaking and stage fright. A script for overcoming lost love and heartbreak. A script for overcoming social anxiety and building confidence. There are a number of scripts in here for various hypnotic inductions. One for a fast cure for phobia. There's even one here on day trading, enhance mental acuity, adhere to trading principles, and attract wealth. Now, this script book is really very similar to many other script books that are out there. My friend John Sorbonne has written multiple volumes with hypnosis scripts. And typically what a hypnotist will do, let's say they have a client who's coming to see them for goal setting. They will actually bring the script to a hypnosis session and use the script as a guide for creating suggestions and actually structuring the session. Now, there are a lot of people out there who say, why would you ever use a script? Why? That's not professional. The reality is using a script is very professional. It's impossible for me if I have 4 or 5 or 7 or 8 or 10 clients in a day for me to remember what I need to suggest to each and every client who comes in my door. And every now and then I have a new client, maybe who has a presenting problem that I've never worked with before. Like, for example, a day trader who asks for assistance using hypnosis to improve his trading. It's not something you're going to see clients for on a regular basis. And so a resource like a script book, or like the scripts that I've provided with this basic gold level course, or like John Sorbonne's books, can be tremendously valuable to you. It's not unprofessional to use a script. It's actually professional to use a script because you're meeting your responsibility of making sure your clients get what they paid for when they come to your office. What's unprofessional is not having concern for the client and simply reading a script from a book, word for word, looking at the script rather than paying attention to the client. And I have a stage hypnosis story for you here. I taught a stage hypnosis class many years ago, and I actually included a script for a stage hypnosis induction. And the way I got the script was simple. I had done a show, and I actually had the induction transcribed, and then I gave that out as handouts or notes. Well, somebody who took the course, and by the way, it was somebody who had a lot of stage performing experience, not as a stage hypnotist, but doing other things. He took the course and he did his first show, and he called me up and said, Richard, it was a disaster. Everything was great. I did the pre-talk and everyone came up to stage, and then I started the induction and nobody went into hypnosis. It was a complete failure. So I said to him, did you video it? And he said, yes, I videoed it. I said, send me the video. And so he did. And literally, here's what he did. He had them come up on stage, and then he grabbed a 3-ring binder. And in the 3-ring binder, he had actually laminated the notes that I had made. And he began to read word for word the notes from my class to the people who were on the committee in stage hypnosis. And so he would say, and now close your eyes and take in a breath, noticing that level of relaxation. And the people behind him were just sort of like, what, are we supposed to be doing what he's saying here? In other words, he was using a script verbatim, word for word, rather than as a tool. I use script books all the time, whether they're my own script books or script books of others. And before I ever use a script with a client, I always make sure I know what the content is. And I X out whatever's not appropriate, or I put a circle and a star around what is really important or I want to emphasize. And so during my session, what I say to my clients is this. And as you relax, you may hear me read from my notes, or even a story or parable from a book. The reason why is simple. I want to make sure that I cover everything today that's important to you. Now that I've made that suggestion during my induction or immediately after the deepener, the client knows that it's going to be normal to maybe hear some pages rustle or a book flipping around. And I don't read verbatim like that stage hypnotist did when he failed at his induction, but rather I take the book as a guide or a resource, looking at the things that are important, but pacing myself with the client, ad-libbing when necessary, adding additional things, or taking away from the script. But by having a script as a guide to go through the process with, I begin to commit hypnotic phrases and suggestions to memory. Now, I've done literally thousands of smoking cessation sessions, and I've had interns sit in with me, and they say, but you didn't even use a hypnosis script. That was so good. You just went through the whole thing. Well, I actually did use a script. I've done it so many times that it's all committed to memory at this point. But yet, if you watch this smoking cessation session, or this smoking cessation session, or this smoking cessation session, that's a tongue twister, you'll actually find that they're very similar. They're almost always identical in structure, that many of the suggestions are the same, although I've individualized them based on what the client has told me in the pre-talk, and I've contextualized those suggestions. But yet, they literally are a script, just because I've done it 1,000 times and have it committed to memory, just like an actor in a Hollywood movie or a Broadway play or a singer. In fact, just last month, I went to see a famous singing duo, and for some reason it escapes me, even though Air Supply, that's who it was. It was Air Supply. I've actually seen Air Supply like 3-4 times in concert. I have no idea why I forgot their name for a moment. But they've been around for 40 years. And they didn't sing anything new. They sang the same songs. But they did it with such excitement. And did it with such joy for pleasing the audience. They really do put on a magnificent show, which is why I've seen Air Supply 3 or 4 times. That even though they had everything committed to memory, essentially using a script, each performance seems to be unique. So I want to stress at the beginning here that as we go through and conceptualize and actually do hypnosis with our clients, it's perfectly okay to have resources that help us to experience success. I often hear people give their wisdom. They say, you should never teach with a script, or you should never use a script. My guess, those are people who probably actually aren't doing hypnosis with clients. Because real therapists recognize that it's really important to make sure that we give each and every one of our clients exactly what they came to our office for. And a script, especially early on in your career, can be a tremendous guide to making sure that clients experience the success that they came to your office for.